no bad words when recording. All right. Hi, everybody.
Oh, the part that you all didn't get to hear like 10 seconds ago.
Welcome to the Pulse. It's so good to be here. Welcome, friends. We will all be together today doing announcements, doing updates. We have something in every category for once. That's crazy town. So let's review the categories. In development means we're making sausage back in the Redlands, in the Redmond, back in the homeland of Microsoft. So that means it's in development, not launched yet. Rolling out means it's started to launch to tenants, but that could mean it's gone to a few tenants, a lot of tenants, a whole lot of tenants, a little bit of tenants. And that could mean enterprise, that could mean enterprise and GCC, or that could mean DoD and GCC high. It's going to depend. And then launched means it's available. You should see it. If your people have turned it on, if it's a turn-onable feature. And then canceled means either we have done away with it, or oops, it got put on the roadmap twice, so we've canceled this entry on the roadmap. So those are our categories, and we'll take a quick jump through all of them. Sometimes we go through every item on the list. There's about 75 today, and sometimes we skip over some of them because sometimes they make it on the roadmap more than once, typos, different things that they fix, and sometimes they just stay there for a little bit. So we will go through, give you guys the highlights, talk about the things that matter. So I'm going to let Tamara go first today. So Tamara, talk to us about what's in development and what you love.
Sure. Microsoft Teams, the Together Mode extensibility. It means you can build your own scenes that elevate your meeting experience. We believe that by making Together Mode extensible, creators can create immersive scenes and users can go beyond simple video conferencing. Started building your scenes by going to the developer portal for Microsoft Teams. So you'll be able to create your own environments.
I want a Together Mode scene for the same meeting room that I have so that people at home can feel like they're sitting in the meeting with me when we're in the meeting.
I think that's brilliant.
And now
I would also like one. I would also like one on the command deck of the Starship Enterprise.
You probably have to pay somebody a lot of rights for that.
Probably. The only other thing that I'm really excited about is restarting live events.
Yeah, I didn't know this was a problem, but I think it's kind of funny to think about the people that this was a problem for.
If you accidentally stop a live event, you cannot restart a live event.
I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, think about the poor people that had a live event that they accidentally ended early, then we're just like up shit creek,
This is a career-limiting move that you just pulled off right there.
There are a couple buttons that are very near the end button. And let me tell you, somebody clicked it in a webinar we were doing. It's like we had 35 people in the webinar. And 2 minutes into it, somebody clicked end instead of share.
The next time we did the webinar, there was only one producer and very few presenters.
Yes.
Yes. Too funny.
It's a mistake you make once.
Yes.
If you want to be employed, yes.
It's a resume producing move.
I love it. I love it. Well, live reactions in Teams meetings for DoD. That's a fun one. So now they can give us their live reactions. I know they'll be excited about that one coming. It's the little things that make people happy. So that one's coming.
I thought I was going to be really annoyed by live reactions in meetings, but I actually really like it because it gives you a little more interaction with the attendees.
It gives you interactions without interruptions.
Right. Exactly. Oh, I'm stealing that. Interactions without interruptions. Nice alliteration.
I'm too much of a troll. I wish there was more neutral or negative reactions that I could do. They're also positive.
You want the poop emoji,
don't you? I was going to say, Adam's holding out for the poop emoji.
Well, maybe they'll give you the ability to develop it.
There you go.
Exactly.
All right, Tom. Go ahead. It's not often I make you go after Tamara and I. So.
No, that's fine. Not a problem. I don't have a whole lot that really jumped out and grabbed my attention. There's two for Microsoft Teams that both relate to mobile. iOS and Android. One of them is they're adding a day view in the calendar for iOS and Android. So you can view all your meetings and events for the day instead of having to look at everything spread out over a work week or something like that. So if you're used to using a mobile device for a lot of your Teams meetings or just seeing what your calendar is for the day, that should help a little bit. Also, they are now rolling out the immersive reader support to mobile. Mm-hmm. So this is something that has been in Word, it's been in Outlook, it just recently rolled out for SharePoint and OneDrive. All these things have been available for web and desktop apps, but now they're starting to do this out to the mobile clients. And Immersive Reader, basically, if you activate it, it changes the view of what you're looking at to where you only have text, and it then reads it to you. So if you're having problems reading whatever is out there, you can have it read to you. I also find that for some people who are distracted by a lot of visual clutter, going into Immersive Reader, if you don't want it to be read to you, but you don't want a lot of the other background stuff going on, you can go to Immersive Reader and all you're dealing with is text. It's like using Pocket to go do an article, and it just pretty much strips all the text out and you've got your article. You don't have all the advertisements and stuff like that. So those are two things coming out for Teams and the mobile clients. Look for them soon in a client near you.
Guys, I think that starting with Microsoft's fiscal year next, we are going to put together the award show for well-written details on the roadmap.
This is going to be the Golden Folder Award, right?
Yes, because we have one that is just written today that makes me giggle. And so I'm going to bring it up because it's worth a giggle, everybody. It's worth a giggle. Somebody got paid to write this description, and they got paid. I just see people in the conference room comparing thumb sizes and testing it. It's just great.
I am rapidly trying to go through and find which one
you're referring to. We are positioning the send button in a more convenient place when using your thumbs to type. This will match the experience in Quick Reply, and we also hope it will be easier for users to reach. So the send button is going to move in full compose for Outlook iOS. So I just see them. I can't reach it with my thumbs. And so they're positioning the send button in a more convenient place. So I think when the new fiscal, we're going to have an award show, maybe red carpet. Maybe we can find out who wrote it. Give them it is the Golden Folder Awards, Tom. We're going to have to nominate them. And then at the end of the year, we can have an award show, popcorn, tuxedos. It'll be grand. This one would have been nominated. We're doing it, guys. We're doing it.
I think we should send out a survey and have it crowdsourced.
Crowdsourced. Yes, crowd favorite. This is happening, guys. This is happening. 2022. It's going to be the year of the Golden Folder.
Boy, Adam, look what you have to follow up with. I do not envy you right now.
I was just thinking of very dirty jokes that I can't say on the webcast. We're doing good. We'll move on to professional things. So there's a couple nerdy things that I'm going to mention. So this one, I don't necessarily know that I actually know what this is saying it's going to do. But I'm going to make a nerdy guess. So they say Azure Active Directory, OneDrive, and SharePoint for Business, Azure B2B integration. So Azure B2B is what handles the back-end permissions when you're going to external users, specifically external users that are also in Azure AD. And so say, Tom's company's in Office 365, my company's in Office 365. I can go in and give Tom permissions to a file I have, and rather than my tenant having to store that, it basically associates that with Tom's login. They act like what they say with this is integration is going to come naturally to OneDrive and SharePoint, which is not already there. How I potentially see this is I'll have the ability to potentially go in there and when I'm adding users to the share section of SharePoint, or when I'm adding users to share section of OneDrive, if you have other users that you've already pulled into your guest accounts, or you have users that you interact with frequently through other tenants, potentially it's going to surface those for you, which I think could be cool. We'll just have to see where that goes. I think this has the potential to be neat. Besides that, there's a couple other ones. Definite love shout out. For one thing, they basically say Microsoft Exact Data Match, which is a really cool feature, is now going to support auto labeling. I cannot wait for this to come out to the GCC and GCC High tenants for some of my customers. EDM allows you to do literal matching of records. So if you're a hospital, you can upload your patient records into Office 365. And then rather having algorithms that look for patterns of electronic healthcare information, it literally looks for your exact patient records and prevents it from leaking. So combining this with auto labeling, you could then go through and say, okay, well, anywhere you find my patient records, label it with a label that says patient records and add encryption to it. Something like that would be really cool and really, really powerful for our compliance customers. And then the final one that I wanted to point out that I thought was kind of interesting going through and looking at it was the Admin Center Migration Manager Dropbox migrations for government clouds. So this is still more stuff coming out of Mover. So we see some of this come for the commercial space. But in general, the idea is they're going to give you very simple tools that you can go through and use inside of your tenant to do migrations from Dropbox into M365, which will be both SharePoint and OneDrive. So they're developing that for the government users now, which is nice to see them. And again, more fruits of their Mover acquisition from what, almost a year and a half at this point, 2 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Anything else in development, guys?
Good.
All right. Well, Tom, why don't you get us into rolling out?
Sure. There's a couple things that I saw that I would point out. And again, rolling out, we've probably talked about these at some point because they were in development at some point, hopefully. The first one is OneDrive. They are consolidating the OneDrive Admin Center with the SharePoint Admin Center, which makes a lot of sense when you realize that OneDrive is basically a SharePoint site. So it's all going to be in one place right now. You don't have to go to two different places, and that will be a really nice thing. It's supposed to be out actually next month, so we'll see there. And then the SharePoint app bar, the much ballyhooed on again, off again, back on again, and actually rolling out now, should actually now be starting to show up in some of your clients. And that basically means on your SharePoint sites up in the upper left corner in the left side rail, you're now going to have the SharePoint app bar, and there's like 4 icons. And the first one is like a home page. Second one is My Files. Second one, third one's like My News, and I don't recall what.
One of them's frequent sites, and it's my favorite.
Yeah, you can just click it, and ones that you've been to, ones that you followed or favorited. It's kind of nice to have those 4 links right there, and you don't have to waste space on your internet homepage to put these kind of things there, because it's just going to be there automatically. We've got it on ours. We're going to start to publicize it a little bit more. But again, I think that's going to be a really nice thing that's consistent across the board.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. How about you, Tamara?
Oh, I'm really excited about the Teams webinar capabilities.
I knew
it. So schedule and deliver a 1,000-person webinar with the same Teams app that you use for meetings. Webinar capabilities support a registration page creation, email confirmation for registrants, host management for attendee video and audio, and attendee reporting, plus interactive features like polls, chats, and reactions. And that's rolling out to the commercial tenant this month.
Now,
I'm very excited.
And that's just commercial tenant.
Just commercial.
Alrighty. I know we're dying to get that in the other tenants. So soon. Alrighty. I love it. How about you, Adam?
I'm just gonna give a shout out to the disable, enable single attendees and multiple attendees videos.
Yeah.
What I actually think this is coming from, I'm sure this has happened since people have worked from home, and I'm sure you guys out there have probably seen stuff like we probably have posted online of stuff happening on video that should not be happening in meetings on videos. So for the ability to have admins go in and either turn off a single person or every person's video, kind of surprised this didn't exist before, but say Steve's forgotten to wear pants and stands up and starts walking around, well, you could then go and silence Steve's video or take away Steve's video, so that way everyone doesn't have to see Steve walking around in his underwear. So potentially a good thing and nice to see coming.
It's good when you're doing like a teaching presentation, because bless her heart, we had one of our customers did a presentation, and she could have used this because she did a presentation of her teaching, and she sent it to us, and she's like, urgent, we've got to get this up there. We're doing a migration. And I put it up on our training site, but I didn't really watch the video. I just got it up there. At number one mistake by me. I probably should have watched video, but I got it up there right away got it up immediately. And about 40 minutes later, she goes, oh my, take it down. It was someone's face. And just their face for the entire video.
Wow.
Because something had happened and she had shared screens, but she had managed to capture the audience. But the audience was just like Adam's face right there of someone watching her do the presentation. And I posted it on the training site. So that would have been a great use of being able to, hide everyone's video, because in that there was zero value in seeing everyone watch her present. It was very comical. So A+ on us getting the video up right away.
Come get trained while Dave stares at you.
It was funny. Exactly. It was funny. All right. So Forms, correct answer choice feature added to Microsoft Forms polls in Teams meetings. So I can give you a poll and then tell you what you were supposed to say.
I mean, that's for like quizzes, but I laughed at that too. That it's termed poll and there's a correct answer. Like, nope, your opinion is wrong.
Yep, exactly. Thank you for taking the time to fill out our survey. You were wrong.
And then polls in Teams meeting support for 1,000 people in a meeting, which is great. So then I want to hear your feedback, which means everyone's feedback instead of just a few. Let's see. There's a lot of other things, meeting experience roster, a lot of the stuff that Tamara was talking about. The in-meeting share experience is getting improved. A lot of that kind of stuff is happening there. Also, SharePoint and OneDrive for Business, the shared dialog, they're adding the link settings to the quick permissions, so you can change the link settings about that. So that's a good one that's coming there. I think that is all that I have. Is there anything else in the rolling out category we want to talk about? Go ahead, Tom.
I just had to shake my head, Jess, and she was shaking her head no. Microsoft Teams AI poll question suggestions and AI-based historical poll suggestions. So this is really nice if you're trying to put together a poll on the fly in Teams and you start to put it out there. It will either go out and say, well, in the past when you've had these, here's some questions you've asked, and you can pull those in easily, or just based on here's the type of questions you might be interested in asking, do that. And I know that occasionally I've been doing a couple demos on that. And I put a question out there and the text of the question was yes or no, and it was a choice field. And right after I typed in yes or no, it said, do you want to put the following choices in there? Yes, no, all of them. I'm like, all of them, so it's pretty good at sensing based on what you've typed in what some answers might actually be instead of you having to put them out there yourself. So
I will say about Microsoft Forms. So I have used Microsoft Forms since it first came out. And I would say in the beginning, a lot of people thought, oh, Microsoft Forms, it's just a quick form tool, but it's really lacking. And I built it was still a simple form, but it was still pretty advanced. There were a lot of options in it. And I built it so quickly. And the AI that was in it that helped me and guided me through building it, and the experience for building it, and how quickly people could give me answers, how pretty it looked, and how easy it was. The experience was fantastic. And I got to the end of it and I thought, wow, I could have trained my mom to do that. And so it was great. So Microsoft Forms is it keeps getting just better and better. And it's a great tool to keep using. So I think for those of us that kind of forget that it's there, it's probably an easy one to, think about and maybe go back to for some of the things that we're going after and doing. So
yeah, it's real easy to go out too and create a Power Automate that will go and say, okay, for each response that comes in, now take the response answers and throw them into a SharePoint list which then you can use to do more analysis, maybe do Power BIs, because the answers that they store aren't terribly accessible from within forms. You kind of have to go out and you have to export to Excel, and then you're kind of on your own at that point. Where if you have the Power Automate flow and you build a list that matches what you have out there, that gives you a lot more flexibility in what you want to do with the data once it comes in without having to go back and keep exporting to Excel. So.
Yeah, and it's even different for me, Tom. Like our process was one that we have to take that data and go in and create something else. And when I go and create this other thing, it goes and lives in a totally different data system. And I don't want the people who are giving me the information to go put it into the data system directly, because they may or may not be giving me the right data, but they don't know. So I need to like work with them on the data, but I need to get a starting point to input the data, and I may need to make changes and stuff like that. But it gave me such good starting point that I actually just take the data and I did Power Automate and I put it in an email. Nice. And that's good enough for my process. I put all the form answers in a single email. The email goes to a distribution list, and that's all we need. And then from there, I have enough of a starter piece of information to either go back and get more information or kick off my process where all of the official data goes, and then we go do it. So you can either go as complex as what you're saying, where it goes off into other, or like ours, we have like a little break in the process, but it works because it gives us our starting point. So it's kind of half automated, but automated enough that it works with the natural workflow. But all cool stuff. Cool stuff. I love it. So fun. Different processes for different folks. All right. Launched. Adam, talk to us about Launched.
Yeah, so there was a couple ones on Launched I thought was cool, similar to the update that we got at the end related to what was it, the polls in Teams. Now chats as well as meetings can go and increase from 300 up to 100 for Microsoft Teams, which is kind of cool. I don't personally have a need for a 1,000-person Teams meeting, but I'm sure some large customers out there, maybe instead of doing a live event, decided they just wanted to do a meeting for some reason, even though that would be horrible on your network. But it has been asked for, so it is delivered. You can now see Teams and chat in Teams being able to support up to 1,000 people. That's for commercial and GCC, but not GCCI just yet.
Well, think about if you have a CEO that wants to chat
with everyone in the company all at once.
Well, they may want to. They may want to have a threaded chat or something like that.
Sure. I could see that. That would probably be an interesting situation. I was in Slack channels with like 90 people, and that was too much. But, maybe people
it's not
be more
even that
with the CEO.
It's not even that everyone is going to chat, but if you're think about it, even with Planet, we're 350 people. Who are the 50 people that don't get to talk to the CEO? Right? So it's not saying that all 350 people are going to participate in the chat, but who are the 50 people that don't get the opportunity?
Right.
Sure.
Right. So I know I used to think we'd never need it either until I got into all of these scenarios where people are asking for it and their use case was actually legitimate. And I was like, sure. All right, maybe my horizons have been opened. All right, Tamara, what do you think about in this Launched category?
Well, Outlook has a My Day pane available in office.com, and the My Day pane from Outlook allows users to quickly glance at their Outlook calendar, join meetings, and also monitor their to-do list. So it kind of puts your whole day together in one interface, and you can interact with it there.
Awesome.
Very cool. I've got a couple things that I'll just throw out there. One is on the SharePoint, the auto news digest that comes out. You can now company brand that. It used to be that you got what Microsoft sent you, and that was it. Which is what caused our StratCom people to go, no, turn it off. I don't think that just being able to company brand it's going to make a difference. I think they want to go out and say, well, I want to change the words and stuff. Like, no. But you do now have the ability to company brand it, which should keep many people from thinking, oh, this is spam. This is phishing. and you see something that looks like it's actually coming from your company. The other thing, which is related to something I talked about earlier, and that's the immersive reader. I mentioned that it's now in SharePoint Pages and new posts. Yeah, it's launched. It's now in SharePoint Pages and news posts. So again, if you like immersive reader, if you like to be read to, if you just like getting rid of the clutter, you can now find it in SharePoint Modern Pages.
Great. Teams, add a shared calendar to a Teams channel for GCC, High, and DoD. So that's launched. That's a good one that is out. So there we go with that. And then also for Microsoft Teams, direct guest join for Zoom and WebEx meetings. So now Teams Room and Zoom Room devices can connect to each other's web meetings via an embedded web technology. So this is intended to reduce friction you have when trying to join calls from external partners or clients who may not be using the same meeting devices. This is a good thing. This is everyone playing along together in our ecosystem. So that's an exciting update. I'm sure if you were waiting for that, or if you just have people, because let's be honest, if you have users that are using Teams and they cannot connect with their customer that they're trying to meet with or their client, they're not going to be like, oh, it's because the client doesn't work. They're going to tell you they hate Teams and they hate you for making them use Teams. So if that's been happening, you're going to be happy about this. So if you've been waiting for this,
mature response. I hate it. I hate it. I hate you.
Well,
it sucks.
It's what happens. So now you can be happy. All right. Anyone else?
I'm good.
Nope, that's good.
All right. Well, then getting down into canceled. We have 3 duplicates, which means it doesn't matter. Office 365 message encryptions, updates for mail servers, it's the duplicate, so it doesn't matter. Data loss prevention for Microsoft Teams and GCC High, and speaker attributions for live captions. Those do not matter because those are duplicates. We do have one that is Power Apps in Teams usage analytics in the Teams Admin Center. So this was the Power Apps and Teams integrations, empower users to build custom apps. And so soon they were going to put Teams admins will be able to analyze how their organizations is using and apps built with Power Apps inside of Teams under the analytics section of the Teams Admin Center. They have canceled that. They are not giving us more reasons why they have canceled that. I think we just need to wait and see. So you're crossing between Office and the Power Platform. So you've got 2 divisions working with each other. So I don't think it's you're not getting reports. You're just not getting them across each other right now. It's probably just a wait and see. So we'll wait and see where that one is coming in for the usage analytics. That's crossing streams right there. So we might just need to wait and see what happens. So we will keep watching that one and let you know kind of what's going on there. I would be looking at the Power Apps team for usage analytics, and then the Teams app, you can go bug them and say, hey, I want to see this in the Teams Admin Center. So go bug those 2 teams and see if we can't get that back. But those are our updates.
Just don't tell them we sent you. Just go bug them on your
Those are our updates for this week. We will be back next week with another round of fun and foolery. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. We will see y'all next week. Thanks, guys.
Later.
Bye now.